When you openly display your struggles and vulnerabilities, you might unintentionally invite others to cause you more harm. While this doesn't happen in every situation, it's surprisingly common for certain individuals to find satisfaction in watching you struggle, or they might even make your problems worse on purpose. This cruel tendency toward enjoying others' misfortune and feeling jealous of their success exists in more people than we'd like to admit, and it can seriously block your progress in many areas of your life. You might encounter this behavior in your workplace, within your friend group, or even among your own family members. That's why mastering the art of hiding your vulnerabilities can actually become one of your greatest strengths. Picture yourself as a mighty oak tree standing firm during a powerful storm. The leaves might shake and dance in the wind, and the branches might bend and sway back and forth, but the thick trunk stays solid and unmoving, with its roots planted deep into the ground below. This represents the kind of quiet strength and inner toughness that we're going to explore together. In what follows, we'll discuss how you can become even more resilient by showing others that outside problems don't easily shake you, where every difficult situation becomes a lesson that helps you grow stronger, just like that sturdy tree. When you act like nothing can bother or upset you, you're not pretending the storm doesn't exist, but instead you're choosing not to let the raindrops soak through your clothes or allow the strong winds to push you over. You'll discover how to take control of your own destiny, staying steady, powerful, and calm even when everything around you feels like complete chaos. Throughout this discussion, we'll explore 18 important principles from the teachings of Epictetus, a famous and highly respected philosopher whose name you've probably come across before. Additionally, I want to guide you toward understanding yourself better, where true strength doesn't come from making loud noise like thunder, but from the quiet power of inner light that shows you the right direction to go. So for the next several minutes, concentrate fully on what we're covering and try to push aside the everyday things that usually distract you. Let's begin our journey. First principle, use your ears twice as much as your mouth. Have you ever stopped to wonder why nature designed us with 2 ears but gave us only 1 mouth? According to Epictetus, this isn't some random accident or mistake, but instead there's a very clear and important reason behind how we're built. We shouldn't become too impressed with the sound of our own voice, but rather we should become fascinated with listening to what other people have to say. We grow and learn by paying attention to others, not by constantly repeating the same things we've always believed or said before. Starting right now, begin focusing much more on the words and ideas that come from the people in your life, and spend less time defending or promoting the opinions you've been holding onto up until this point. Second principle, always be ready for the worst-case scenario. One of the main reasons people experience anxiety and all the terrible effects that come with it is because they believe that bad situations are waiting for them somewhere in the future. We become afraid that our kids will drop out of school, that we'll lose our jobs, that our husband or wife will tell us they've been cheating with someone else and want to end our marriage, or that some other terrible thing will happen to us, like losing all our money. The real problem is that one day we worry about one of these possibilities, and then the next day we stress about a completely different one, and then another one after that. Life, while it does give us wonderful and joyful moments, also guarantees that we'll face a bunch of problems that we simply can't avoid. Because of this, we end up living with constant stress and worry, triggered by different fears every single day. This is exactly where Epictetus steps in with his approach, which is both extreme and incredibly effective at the same time. He suggests that you should imagine that all these things you're so scared of have already actually happened to you. So then, what could possibly be worse than that? By thinking this way, your mind will naturally develop ways to handle these situations and keep moving forward with confidence and dignity. Third principle, get ready to fail because that's the only path to real growth. We often go to incredible lengths to avoid looking stupid or incompetent in front of others. But Epictetus sees this completely differently than most people do. According to his way of thinking, one of the best things that could possibly happen to you is to be seen as foolish or to make mistakes, because this is actually how you truly get better both in your career and as a person. The Stoic philosopher teaches us that success and improvement don't just happen suddenly out of nowhere, but instead they come as the result of a long journey filled with trying things, making mistakes, and then trying again. It's through making these errors that we can smooth out the rough edges and fix the things that keep us from being excellent. Fourth principle, understand the hidden dangers that come with wealth. The money and possessions that we all want so badly come with a burden that very few people manage to escape from. And this isn't just about the people who will suddenly appear in your life trying to take advantage of your good fortune, like those who pretend to be your friend when they don't actually care about you at all. Money has a special power to change people, and unfortunately, it's usually not a change for the better. Once we become owners of this resource that everyone desperately wants, we end up having something that we never realized we had before. And it's right at that moment when our inner character might start to become corrupted as we begin to lose the moral principles and values that once guided our behavior. Fifth principle, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Luckily, we humans are naturally built to enjoy variety and different experiences in our lives. This means there's absolutely no good reason to place every single one of our hopes and dreams into just one goal or ambition, because doing so could completely destroy us emotionally if that one thing doesn't work out the way we planned. This is why Epictetus strongly suggests that we should go after multiple dreams and goals at the same time, because when we do this, we dramatically multiply our opportunities to achieve success in at least one area of our lives. Sixth principle, never forget that death waits for everyone at the end. This piece of advice isn't meant to make us feel gloomy or depressed about life, but rather to help us stay aware that death will eventually be the final stop for everything we do and all the effort we put into our daily activities. When we keep this reality fresh in our minds, we might finally begin to question whether it really makes sense to spend 20 whole years of our limited time on earth working and saving money just to buy a house that, no matter how much we love it or how important it seems to us, we won't be able to pack up and bring with us when we leave this world. When death finally comes to visit each of us, we should think about it the same way we think about packing our everyday bag with those items we absolutely need to get through our day, like our cell phone, our credit cards, and our toothbrush. It would help us tremendously if we made sure to carry around a small notebook filled with these Stoic principles and ideas, because when we have access to this wisdom, we'll stop looking at problems and setbacks as terrible disasters that ruin our lives. We'll also stop viewing our time on earth as unlimited, and instead will develop a much more realistic understanding of what our existence actually looks like, which will definitely help us make much better choices about how we spend the precious years we have. Seventh principle, real riches come from having a satisfied heart. Because of his strong belief in Stoic philosophy, Epictetus developed his own special way of thinking about what happiness really means, and we can understand his viewpoint through one of his most well-known sayings. A truly wise person is someone who doesn't worry or stress about the things they don't own, but instead finds joy and celebration in everything they already possess. This deep thought is much more than just a nice idea to consider for a moment. It's actually practical advice that teaches us to stop feeling sad and frustrated about the money and possessions that aren't part of our lives yet. The reason this matters so much is that while we spend our time complaining and feeling sorry for ourselves about what we're missing, we're wasting precious moments of potential happiness that we could be using to feel grateful for everything we've already accomplished and earned, which is actually much more than we usually train our eyes to notice and appreciate. When we understand this, we realize that a truly wealthy person is, more than anything else, a person who feels genuinely happy with their life. Eighth principle, make humility a regular part of your daily life. If you truly want to master any subject or skill, it's absolutely necessary that you first unlearn what you think you already understand about that topic. Through this powerful statement, Epictetus is encouraging us to embrace being humble, especially when it comes to gaining new knowledge and understanding. When we go through life acting proud of how much we know and showing off our intelligence, we actually push ourselves further and further away from the real wisdom that can only come from honestly admitting that we know absolutely nothing about the subject we're trying to master. When we approach learning this way, we'll start looking at everything around us with the same fresh curiosity that children have, which contains just as much ability to be amazed by new discoveries as it does genuine hunger to understand how things work. Ninth principle, guilt acts like a disease in your life. People with narrow, limited thinking blame everyone else around them for their problems. Regular, average people turn the blame on themselves instead, but those who have developed true wisdom recognize that all forms of blame and guilt are completely pointless and foolish. Thanks to this important insight from Epictetus, modern therapists have started treating guilt as a harmful emotion that should be completely removed from our emotional lives. The only way to beat guilt in this ongoing battle is to simply refuse to participate in the game at all. The real challenge is that blaming feels like the easier option to take, because when we point fingers at others or beat ourselves up, we completely free ourselves from the actual responsibility of fixing the problem and making sure it doesn't happen again. This is why falling into the blame trap becomes such a powerful temptation that's incredibly difficult to resist. Only those individuals who are driven by a rock-solid commitment to personal growth and improvement can successfully avoid the guilt game while still taking full ownership and responsibility for their choices and actions. 10th principle: build relationships with successful people. It's really interesting how quickly we back away from someone when they sneeze near us, because we're immediately scared that we might catch whatever illness they have. But we don't show nearly the same level of caution when it comes to avoiding one of the most dangerous forms of infection that we face every single day of our lives. Epictetus shared some incredibly valuable wisdom with us on this topic. He advised us to fill our lives with people who inspire us to become the best version of ourselves, because the way other people behave has an enormous impact on how we think and feel. Some individuals completely drain all of our energy and turn our entire day into a disaster, while other people fill us up with happiness and make us feel ready to take on the world. Because of this reality, one of the most intelligent choices we can possibly make is to form strong friendships and connections with those who bring positive energy and good feelings into our daily experience, while at the same time we need to cut ties with those who have the power to make us wish we had never been born in the first place. 11th principle: remember that your responses shape your future. We should never treat our reactions and responses to life events as unimportant, because they are absolutely what determine whether we succeed or fail in life. Epictetus was extremely clear and direct about this important truth. He showed us that while we cannot control or choose the events that happen to us, we do have complete power over how we handle and respond to those situations. Bad luck and terrible circumstances can strike any one of us at any time, but what we choose to do after these difficult moments arrive is what will make all the difference in how our story unfolds from that point forward. For some individuals, going through a divorce means falling into a deep hole of sadness and playing the victim for years, but for Epictetus, that same painful experience represents an amazing chance to begin the journey of truly understanding yourself on a deeper level. Always keep in mind that your life isn't defined by the things that happen to you, but rather by what you choose to do when those things occur. 12th principle: always do what you're supposed to do. Every single one of us has a specific job and purpose within our community and in this world, and the sun doesn't need anyone to beg it or give it compliments in order for it to come up every morning. Yet it rises faithfully each and every day, and that's simply how it works. In the same way that every piece of the natural world carries out its responsibilities, we humans must also complete our duties and obligations. If we're sitting around waiting for people to ask us nicely or praise us before we're willing to do our work, then we're letting down both the community we belong to and ourselves as individuals. When we understand what our job is and we know that other people are counting on us to get it done, then it becomes our moral responsibility to complete that work without needing anyone to remind us or push us to do it. 13th principle: don't waste energy hating people who hate you, just pay them no attention. You are so much more important and far superior to anyone who speaks badly about you, looks down on you, and treats you unfairly. This is exactly why you should never spend even 1 minute of your valuable time hating that person, because they don't even deserve to take up space in your mind or thoughts. We should learn not to be afraid of people who try to hurt us, because all that angry noise they make is really just a sad and pathetic attempt to cause us damage. So the best thing to do is completely ignore their behavior and make yourself immune to their negativity. 14th principle: choose to live simply. Why would anyone want to live with very little when we now have the ability to fill our lives with every kind of luxury and expensive thing we could possibly want? The answer is much more straightforward and makes more sense than you might expect, because having wealth doesn't just maintain itself automatically. It actually requires a serious commitment and tons of daily energy just to keep up this lifestyle full of expensive things and riches. On the other hand, when we decide to live in a simple way, we free ourselves from all the stress and pressure that comes with having to pay bills on time, make loan payments, and keep up with credit card debt. 15th principle: when you let others' words and actions upset you, you're giving away your power. Anyone who has the ability to make you feel angry automatically becomes the person who controls your life. But here's the important part: that person can only succeed in making you angry if you give them permission to disturb your peace of mind. Epictetus helps us see that we all carry many different keys inside ourselves, and some of these keys open doors that lead us toward joy and contentment, while other keys take us straight down a path toward emotional disaster and heartbreak. And it's exactly this second type of key, the one that destroys our happiness, that we end up giving away to people who make us feel furious and upset. The way to solve this problem is to build a strong wall around our emotions that stops other people's behavior from having any effect on how we feel inside. The truth is that each person owns and controls what comes out of their mouth, and they also have complete power over what they choose to let into their ears and mind. 16th principle: real friendship is worth more than money. The most valuable treasure you can have is authentic, loyal friends, because these special people will stand by your side and help you if your money and possessions ever disappear one day. This is why you should spend your time and energy building genuine friendships with people who truly care about you, because when you do this, you're making an extremely smart investment that will pay off for many years to come. 17th principle: always find the good side in every situation. No matter what happens in your life, it's completely up to you whether you choose to benefit from it or not. These are the exact words that Epictetus taught his students. As you can clearly see, he's not saying that finding something positive in difficult times is just a nice option you might consider. He's telling us that doing this is actually our responsibility and duty. As long as you have intelligence and the ability to think, you will always be able to figure out what advantages and opportunities you can grab from whatever situation has come your way. Let's say that one day you show up at your job only to discover that your boss is going to fire you and let you go. Instead of falling apart emotionally and blaming the entire universe for being against you, you have the choice to finally start that business you always dreamed about while you were stuck working your regular schedule next to coworkers you couldn't stand. This is why you should always make an effort to search for the bright side and positive aspects of any situation, because when you add up all these moments of finding good and bad times throughout your entire life, this habit will definitely carry you much further than just sitting around feeling sorry for yourself. 18th principle: stop wasting energy on things you cannot change. You have complete ownership over your thoughts and opinions, but you don't get to control what other people think about you or your reputation. You possess the motivation and enthusiasm to go after your goals, but you cannot control exactly how much money you end up making or how much success comes your way. Because of this reality, spending time worrying and becoming bitter about the things we have no power to control is the same as making a conscious choice to throw away precious hours of our lives. According to Epictetus, our job is to focus on developing and improving those qualities and values that we actually have the ability to change and influence, but it's equally important for us to learn how to release and let go of everything that lies outside our control, allowing destiny and fate to handle those matters. Besides being incredibly helpful and practical for managing everyday challenges, these Stoic principles serve as powerful teachings that can guide us through the worst times in our lives with curiosity and inner strength, because there's no room in this philosophy for daydreaming and wishful thinking, only for putting what we've learned into action and continuing to move forward. Pick one principle from this video and commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. Comment which one you chose and why. If you found this video useful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. There are more videos on this channel that will help you become a better version of yourself.